What's up guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm bringing you a classic, old school, full day of eating what I'm currently eating at the moment to maintain my condition. Try and look my best and try and feel my best. Come a long way since the good old days where I started these videos on my channel back in Newcastle. A couple of years later, here we are, Dubai, slightly different lifestyle, but still the same old me. So first things first, when I wake up, obviously I'm going to be quite dehydrated, so I have myself usually like half of one of these, which is around 500 to 750 milliliters. Then straight after that, of course, I have to have my coffee, my morning coffee. Back in the day, I used to go to Arabica, walk down there, sit outside, but now, since I have an absolutely outrageous coffee machine, which actually makes cold brew, I have myself a little cold brew, and that definitely is one of the best ways for me to start my day. Okay then. First meal of the day. Can anyone take a wild guess as to what I'm gonna eat right now? Anyone? That's right, standard eggs. I've been having it every single day pretty much, ever since my early 20s. It works for me, makes me feel good, and it tastes good. So I'm gonna continue to have this pretty much every single day. The ingredients we have, I mean, look at this, look how lazy I am. I have the garlic pretty much already prepared. The onion is already chopped. The peppers are pretty much chopped, but it needs a little bit more chopping. We've got tomatoes, spinach, and the eggs themselves, organic, ideally. I used to have meat in it. This meat I was getting here in Dubai, well, it was kind of funky meat because I looked in the ingredients and it actually said like 80% meat. So I don't really know what the other 20% was. So I decided to not have that anymore because I'm trying to be a healthy man. I feel as though this pan has had its day. It's no longer working how it should probably be working, so I need a new pan. Bop, 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 bop. Classic omelette. Well, it's not an omelette. I don't know what it is. Don't judge me, don't argue with me. It's just eggs and some vegetables and it tastes good. Yeah, it's around, I say, maybe like 500 calories. I'll give the exact macro breakdown on the screen so you'll be able to see. And I usually have this probably 1 to 2 hours after waking up. Generally when my body is telling me, hey Mike, it's time to eat. And also I try and get this in at least an hour before my workout. My workout is usually around 11, midday. So allow it to digest. And this is some pretty decent fuel to get me performing at my best. Right then, morning supplements. I have some fish oil. At the moment we've got some krill oil from my protein, just to get my omega-3s in. This is the big one. I'm gonna do a full video on this. This is my customized formula from Bionique, which has everything that I need based on my blood test, which I did just over a month ago. So I have 1.5 scoops of these every day. I have my little spatula. It's not a spatula, it's a spoon. My little spoon, which I scoop out of. You can get these in pill form if you want, but I quite like the granules. And then some greens. I mean, there's loads of brands which you can have. Thing is, if you have enough vegetables throughout the day, a variety of vegetables, lots of different colors, the need for supplementing with like a greens powder is maybe not as high, but this is kind of like a backup. I'm gonna have a banana as well because I'm gonna be working out on that. There was a drastic lack of carbs in that meal, so I'm gonna have some carbs. Time to go and train. One very important announcement to make before I head off to the gym, and that is there are 6 new items which have been added to the first collection. First of all, we have white stringer vest, extremely naughty, maximum skin exposure. The next one, we have an oversized black tee, the Thirst logo on the back. The next one, this is like the workout tee, which you may have seen before with the logo drip sign on the back. And then we have the hoodie, the zip up hoodie, very nice, sleek, stylish with the embroidery on there. This is much thinner than the big hoodie which I have on the website at the moment. So there's that one. And the final beanie, a little beanie, which unfortunately I'm not really gonna get to wear much because it's quite hot here in Dubai, but when I go somewhere cold, I'll most definitely be having this on my head the majority of the time. So all of these are available on the website now, thirstofficial.com, and there's also a sale on right now for the next 24 hours. So get your items now. The weather is absolutely paying. 29 degrees, minimal humidity, maximum sunshine. Can I complain? This is a banger as well. Oh! It's the simple things in life. Well, this isn't really a simple thing, driving in a convertible, but playing my favorite music, driving around with the top down, looking at all the skyscrapers, reflecting. It's nice, a bit of me time. Anyway, we're gonna go to Binus today, Binus gym. So we're training legs, so I need a gym which has very good equipment. But a good thing about Dubai is I'm spoiled for choice, so usually every day I'll go to a different gym depending on my mood. If I want to go somewhere a little bit more private, maybe somewhere a little bit more public. But I like variety, it keeps things interesting. I think that's one thing that helps with adherence to training. If you have the ability to change at the location where you train, it definitely makes things more interesting and less repetitive, because realistically bodybuilding is pretty damn repetitive, doing the same thing over and over again. So you have to find ways to make it a little bit more interesting. Pretty motivating, to be honest. Just makes me smile every time I see it. I feel like it's a sign saying that yes, Mike, you chose the right path in life, keep doing what you're doing. So usually before I warm up for legs, I like to spend a good 15 to 20 minutes doing some arm wrestling. Absolutely not. Today I will be having some pre-workout. I don't usually have pre-workout, but since it's legs and I feel like I need a little bit of a kick up the old hiney, I'm gonna have some. We have the pre-workout from My Protein, which is the cola flavor. A little bit of water. I won't be scooping it in my mouth today. Honestly, the need for pre-workout isn't really there if I have a good night's sleep and I'm well fed and I'm ensuring that I'm at least like resting, you know, once after 3 to 5 consecutive days of training. But every now and then it's good to have a little bit of a kick. If I'm having pre-workout, I definitely don't have it after like 1 or 2 o'clock. Like messes up my ability to fall asleep naturally. I'm like awake 3 in the morning with my eyes wide open thinking about the universe if I have pre-workout too late, so I don't do that. So then, leg day, gonna be starting off. This is gonna be like more of a hamstring glute dominant workout because I feel as though my posterior chain needs a little bit more work. So I'm gonna start off with some seated leg curls, get the hamstrings nice and warmed up, and then we'll move into a tasty compound movement. And we are back home. Usually I would have a shake after the workout, but when I train legs, definitely feel a little bit sick afterwards and don't really have an appetite, so I leave it like half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm back home, and now I'm actually pretty ravenous. So, first things first, protein shake, get some protein into the system. I will be having today the whey from My Protein. I've actually run out of the vegan one, unfortunately, but I've actually tried this one, and I don't have immediate diarrhea, so that's a good sign that my stomach can actually handle it. I do sometimes have a little problem with dairy, but I think my digestive system is actually manning up a little bit. Maybe it's just because I've, you know, not overdoing it like I used to overdo it. Back in the day, I used to have like 4 to 6 scoops of whey protein a day, and like I used to wonder why my stomach felt like someone was stabbing it and I was glued to the toilet afterwards. That would be the photography. By the way, Rob's the new photographer and he's absolutely killing it. Unbelievable photos. None of you lot are allowed to poach him because he's my photographer now. So his Instagram is @Robert. Good luck finding that. Robert,
It's Robert. Actually, it's Robert.
Robert.
Howdy. Robert.
Howdy.
Robert. I have a full-on Latvian gang working for me now. So we've got Chris doing the YouTube, we've got Elvis doing the TikTok, now we've got Rob doing the photos and Instagram. So I might as well get a Latvian assistant as well, and then just make everything complete. Generally speaking, people always say, oh, how soon after a workout should you have some protein or some nutrition in your system? You know, the post-anabolic window. It really depends on, in my opinion, how and what you ate before the session itself. So let's say, for example, you go to the gym, you train fasted, you don't have anything in your system. It's more important and more of a requirement for you to get some nutrients and protein into your system as soon as possible after the workout itself. However, if you've had a pretty substantial meal before the workout, like I did, the protein, eggs, the banana, you know, that's, even now, it's still digested. I'm still getting protein into my bloodstream, so it's like, I'm not exactly going catabolic. However, after a workout like that, the sooner I get some protein into my system, the better. Put this on. Do you know what is like wild? Really wild. How much better normal protein, whey protein tastes compared to vegan. Vegan really is trash. What the hell is going? Okay, by the way, this is dishwasher water, not. Anyway, as I was saying, normal whey protein, whey isolate tastes so much better than vegan. So anyone who's having vegan, like me the majority of the time, you have to have some kind of nut milk. And like, if you really hate the taste of it, this one is naughty. This is like pure Alpro vanilla. This is like really sweet. Obviously it's got more calories in, but this is really good to have like if you're bulking. Per 100 milliliters, you got 57 calories, which is quite a lot if you're having 300, 400 of that a day. Anyway, this is sweet enough, so don't really need to sweeten up that much. If you think it's too sweet, obviously just have it with water. It's like a milkshake, man. Wow, it's very good. Anyway, if you're watching it now, like literally within the 24 hours of this video being released, you'll be able to get a very tasty discount on my protein, up to 60% off if you use code Thurston. And if you are too late, oh well, you probably get like 30%, but it's still pretty good. Might as well stock up on supplements whilst you can, and the clothing, but you know, Thirst clothing's better. It's literally unbelievable.
Hey, yo, Mike.
Yeah.
You good?
Turns out my stomach didn't tolerate that very well. No, I'm only kidding. So far, so good. The stomach is absolutely fine. So I'm gonna let that digest, get changed, have a shower, and then I'll move on to my next meal of the day. So it does actually turn out we have some minor bloating, but nothing to be too concerned about. Still good, still good. Right, next meal. What do we have? Organic salmon. Some beetroot. Packet of coconut rice. I like it in the packets because I'm lazy. I like salmon because it just tastes friggin' awesome. I am getting organic salmon, costs a little bit more, but I think it's worth it. Hopefully they're not absolutely mugging me off. I'm just getting it from a salmon farm. I'm hoping it is actually organic salmon. Very hard to tell these days, especially after you watch Fishspiracy. Seaspiracy? Was it Fishspiracy? Seaspiracy! And you know how I always used to use aluminium foil, but hearing very mixed things about that, how it's not good for you. I was dating this girl who's like really into her health. You know, she was very spiritual, very caring about her body. And she basically looked at me in disgust as I prepared salmon in aluminium foil. So now I'm using Schlerishlich, high quality wax paper. I mean, I hope it's healthier. So I will most likely just have this in one go. The skin is not that thick, which is quite good. 360 grams, which is actually quite a lot. I usually would have 250. So I'll either cut this in half or just have the whole thing. Probably gonna have the whole thing. A little technique just to help it cook quicker. So obviously on the outside it's gonna cook really fast, and then this bit will remain pretty much uncooked. So if we just pierce it, open this little flap. Do I time it? Absolutely not. I just keep checking on it every now and then. Have a little peek through the window when it's crispy on the outside, then that is when it's good to go. I think it's all right. We will see in a couple of hours. Beetroots are really good for you. I would usually have some broccoli or asparagus, but I'm horrendously unprepared today. I'm sitting down today. The stand-up desk has been lowered after that leg session. I don't fancy standing up. Anyway, when it comes to tracking my actual calories, what I do is I use this macro tracker which I built years ago. Like when I was a little nerd, I don't even know how I put this together. I basically put in all the foods which I eat on a regular basis. So the protein, the carbs, vegetables, fruit, fats, condiments, and then I have the calculator here itself. So it's really a bit of a mad one. Like, look at this. I actually put this crazy little formula in. If you asked me to do it again now, I would not be able to do it. I remember it took me like a week to do it, but it's done. You know, most people use MyFitnessPal, but there was a lot of things on MyFitnessPal which I didn't really trust. Like you had like 10 different values for chicken breast, which annoyed me. So I would just get the things which I eat on a regular basis and look at the nutrition info on the back of it, and I would input it myself. So in this spreadsheet, it's got all the things which I eat on a regular basis. So I know that there's a high degree of accuracy when I'm actually tracking everything. So I will track it usually as the day goes on, not necessarily in advance. So far, meal 1, obviously we got like the omelette, which I had, meal 2, which was the protein shake, and then meal 3, which is like the salmon. So it's all pretty interesting stuff. If people actually want access to it, they can get it if they sign up to my app. It's on the Facebook group. So once you sign up to the app, you get into the Facebook group, and then you can download the Excel file, and then yeah, you can use it for yourself. I mean, it's not exactly the most beautiful thing in the world, but it gets the job done. And at least, you know, I know it's accurate, which is the most important thing for me. I always found tracking salmon a bit of a tricky one, because you know when you get some salmon fillets with like really thick skin, it counts the calories of like the entire thing, like the fillet itself and then the skin, and it assumes that you're eating the skin. But then if you don't eat the skin and you just have the fillet itself, then obviously you're going to be eating way less fat. You know, it's a tricky one. I wouldn't get too worked up about it. Like at the end of the day, the total numbers are more of a guideline. They're not going to be exactly like specifically on the dot. Yeah, don't stress yourself out. So I'm not going to have the full thing. As much as I'd like to, it's just an unnecessary amount of protein. So we'll just have the 250. Might as well have some 6-week-old beetroot. Literally smells like you go into your garden and stick your nose into the soil and sniff it. Back in the day, I used to get the little spicy ones from Tesco. They were the best. Not a Tesco in sight in Dubai, unfortunately. That's pretty. This is like the best. The thick teriyaki, based and glazed. This is like really good for the on top of the salmon, and then even on the rice as well. If you're cutting and you're trying to minimize your calorie intake, then maybe avoid the fatty fish, the fatty meat, and go for the leaner cuts. Lean fish, lean meat, such as chicken. But I'm not really doing that. I'm eating the things which I really like to eat, so I'm having some fattier fish. The omega-3 fish oils also good for you as well. On top of that, bit of garlic, bit of salt. Simple, very satisfying. There we go, just bring it up to 250. So we're out and about in the neighborhood, JBR, just taking a little stroll. I remember a couple of videos ago where I told you that a store would be opening that would stock my shorts. Well, it's open and the shorts have arrived today. Shout out to Beach City. This is predominantly female clothing for women that go to the beach and whatnot. However, my shorts are in here, so let's go and have a little look. What a beautiful sight this is. Oh my goodness. Finally happened. So anybody, come to JBR, which is one of the most popular areas for the tourists, come to Beach City. Try on the shorts and take away a pair. Obviously I can imagine the reds are going to sell out pretty damn fast, as these are the #1 best sellers. We've also got the pinks, black block, aqua, signature. Nice. Pretty surreal seeing my shorts in a store. Like, considering it started off just a very simple concept of just a couple swim shorts which I was going to sell for fun, but here we are, Dubai, one of the busiest tourist destinations in the world, and it's in one of the stores in one of the busiest locations, so it feels pretty good. Even though it's like basic, it's not like I'm in like loads of stores yet, but the fact that this is like the first store feels good. I feel like this is the first of many. Anyway, now we're on to the next location, the notorious 5 Hotel on the Palm. It's a hectic one, it's a popular one. And we've got the shorts inside. Ooh! Hold tight. Might have to do a meet and greet here one day. Everyone come down to the 5, have a little chit chat. Everyone that buys a pair of shorts, I do 1 shot tequila. That'll be interesting. I'd like to buy a pair of Thirst shorts. Do you stop them? Woo! Gonna need a bigger wrap than that. Nice, 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 nice. So everyone come to the 5 Hotel. Before you get on the beach, before you go to the pool, get yourself a pair and watch. You'll get 50% more. No, 75% more female attention. Trust me. And we are downtown. I had to come to the mall to run a couple of errands. Thought we'd have some food. Realistically, the majority of the time I do eat out almost every day, or I'm getting like a takeaway in. I don't like preparing my last meal of the day. I like to have some of the delicious options which Dubai has on offer. So today I'm at a place called Tanuki. I've been here a couple times before, and it's like a nice Japanese place. You sit outside, it's outdoor season. You got a view of the birds. Can't really complain about that. And one of the best things about this is it has the calories on the menu, so I can see every single dish that they have with all the calories on it. You can see like quite a lot of these like calorie dense ones are like 500. I have given myself an allowance of around 1,000 calories, so I'm trying to get to 3,000 calories today, just over. So I have decided, well, you'll see when it arrives. So here we have it. This is what I've gone for. The spicy maguro, 117 calories apparently. California, 299. And then the beef teriyaki dish, 318. So if I add that up, 734 calories, which is not too bad actually. It does make it a bit of an issue if I'm trying to calculate the overall macros in terms of protein, carbs and fats, but I'm not going to stress myself out over it. I used to back in the day, but life's too short to be stressing about that. Unless I was doing like some kind of a show and I really needed to watch my calories and make sure I wasn't over consuming, then I would track literally everything, but I don't need to. So I'll go home, I'll estimate what I've kind of had, and then I'll see what I've got left and see if I've hit my target. But generally speaking, advice when eating out, I never get dessert the majority of the time, and a lot of the places I eat, sometimes they don't have the calories on the menu, so I just try and stick with just one main course and maybe a side dish of vegetables, and that way I can kind of make sure I'm not overeating. If you end up getting like a starter or like 2 starters and then a main, you know, a lot of the time they put all the sauces in, loads of other ingredients, oils, and they really just add up, and you can very easily have like 1,500 to 2,000 calories just in one big meal, which if you bulk in, maybe not too much of a problem, but cutting, not something you want to be doing. This dish was supposed to be 117 calories, which in my opinion is pretty damn low. If you divide that by 6, they're trying to claim that each one of these is 20 calories, which I do not believe. Maybe they're bright and it's just miraculous how good this is for 20 calories. But I think realistically it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. So this meal I'm probably going to add on like an extra 100, 150 calories or so. Because it seems too good to be true. Unless you're preparing the food yourself, you never really know. You just have to kind of assume that they're being honest with their calorie counting, which I don't think. A lot of places don't do it properly. What the hell is that? You know what they need on that birch? They need slow motion video of me running in some red shorts. That's what they need. Give me a couple of years. Okay, we're back home. Honestly, I feel like I've been in the car for about 2 hours, and being in that car for a long period of time is not good for my lower back. So usually, I either do this on a morning or evening. I literally just do this for about 10 minutes, just to basically readjust my spine. But I guess that's the price to pay for driving a sports car. But what would you rather do? Would you rather have a healthy spine or look like an absolute G? Definitely go for the latter. A lot of people, without a doubt, overeat. They end up going out for dinner or whatever, and they end up overeating and maybe having dessert. They do it a couple times a week and then they wonder, oh my God, like, I'm not losing weight. Well, that's not ideal. But what I would do, let's say for example, if you made a mistake and you messed up and you overconsumed for the day, instead of stressing out about overeating, don't worry. Because I want you to see the week as a whole, right? Your target for the week, let's say for example, if you have 3,000 calories a day for 7 days, it's 21,000 calories. So just try and ensure that you're not going over your weekly amount. So let's say for example, you have 3,000 calories one day. The next day you messed up and you have 5,000 calories. What I would recommend the day after, and the day after that, and then maybe even the day after that, you have to pull back your calorie intake. So maybe do like 2,750 one day, 2,500 and then 2,750. So overall, you balance it out and you pull back on the overall damage which you did. Alternatively, instead of eating less, you could just burn more calories throughout the week. So do a couple extra incline walk list sessions. That's what I do sometimes. If I had a really bad day of eating, then the next day I'll do a little bit of cardio, maybe add an extra cardio session later on in the week, and then either keep my calories the same or pull back a little bit. There's ways to fix it, but more importantly, just make sure you just don't consistently keep over-consuming if your goal is to lose weight. Now, if we calculate everything for the day, which I've had, let's assume that that meal was 1,000 calories, even though technically it was less. It definitely felt around 1,000 calories or just under. So I've allowed myself on my meal plan like an extra, 200 or so calories in terms of like snacks and stuff. If I have a craving, which I don't really have at the moment, but sometimes every now and then I do have cravings for something sweet, I do two things. First thing I do is drink something, because the problem I make a lot of the time is that I mistake thirst for hunger. So I just drink some water, or possibly I have like a low calorie like drink, like an iced tea. I'm obsessed with iced teas at the moment. So I have like an iced tea, or maybe even water with some juice, and that usually a lot of the time will satisfy me and I'm not hungry anymore. Alternatively, I have some little sweet snacks, ideally on the healthier side. And when I was in the UK, I used to have Naked bars. They were pretty nice. They have these in Dubai, little Munchbox Pebbles, which are made with date paste, oats, almond powder, dried cranberries, cocoa, butter, dried banana powder. Something else every now and then. These little My Vegan peanut bars. Pretty decent, not too high in calories. Reasonably sweet, although it's probably not the sweetest things. But often, this is what I have. I would usually, or before I was having like peanut butter on the rice cakes, if I'm feeling like I want something savory. But when I want something sweet, this stuff is absolutely ridiculous. Slightly dangerous though, because once you have one, you're probably gonna want another. You ever had this before?
What is that?
Rice cakes and Biscoff. It's so good. I don't know why it's so good. Well, I know why it's so good, because this is so good. So if I just have one of them, that completely kills my sweet tooth. I make sure not to have too much sweet stuff and junk food in my house, like chocolate. If there's like a chocolate bar here, every single time I go and get a piece of chocolate and say, oh my God, I'm only gonna have one piece, maybe two pieces. Whole thing's gone, every single time, so I just don't buy it in the first place. And generally, I don't actually crave junk food. The only times I crave junk food is when I'm hungover, like really hungover, I'm extremely sleep deprived, or ill. I was ill a couple of weeks ago and literally all I wanted to do all day was sit and eat junk, which is what I did. So that's that. Let's go and calculate how many calories we've had today. Breakfast with the eggs and the banana, that was around 485. Let's assume it's around 500 calories. Then we went to the gym, trained, came back, had the protein shake with the almond milk. That was around 234 calories. Then after that, we had the salmon, 250 grams, plus the rice, plus the teriyaki sauce. That was around 950. Although honestly, there really wasn't that much salmon skin, and I didn't eat much of it, so I would assume it's a little bit less than that. Then we had the meal out, which, what did I say, something like 730 calories, which honestly didn't feel like it. It was more like 850, 900. And then I've allowed myself 2 rice cakes and some like 30 grams worth of either nut butter or Biscoff. And that will bring up my total to around 3,000 calories. The protein, I would say, probably around 210, 220, that's what I'm aiming for. Around 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And then carbs and fats can really vary. I think people stress out a little bit too much with the carbs and fats. I would just make sure that you're consuming at least over 50 to 60 grams of fats if you're a male. But vary it, do whatever you feel best. And that's that. Most important thing, as always, is the consistency. If you're consistent with hitting your target calorie intake and your target protein intake on a day-to-day basis, and train hard and smart on a day-to-day basis, you're gonna see progress. There is realistically gonna be days where you mess up. I mess up even now at the ripe old age of 31 years old. But I just minimize the amount of times I make those mistakes. I learn from my mistakes. And when there is temptation placed in front of me, I have a strong willpower. And I don't think of the immediate gratification that I get from something that tastes good. I actually think ahead of how I'm gonna feel after I've consumed it. And the majority of the time, if there's junk food in front of me, chocolate, dessert, I just say no. Because I know 15 minutes afterwards, half an hour afterwards, I'm just gonna regret it and think, why did I do that? And I know that I'm gonna crave more of it. And it's just gonna be a battle for me to say no to more of it when I see it in my face. So that's that. I hope you've enjoyed the video. That is a full day of me eating. Classic, never gets old. I hope you enjoyed it. Thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Of course, please support me. And head over to thirstofficial.com. Discount on the app, discount on the clothing, and of course my protein. Use code THIRST. See you in the next video.